It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we've got a beer from Buxton and Omnipollo, and this is a can of the original Raspberry Ripple ice cream, coming in at 6% ABV. Just going to quickly check. Yeah, Buxton x Omnipollo. Omnipollo being from Sweden, Buxton being from, well, where you get Buxton water from. It's a 440ml can, coming in at 6% ABV. I called the first iteration of this beer that landed into Tesco the lemon meringue. I called it, this is no other, this is just an alcohol pop. This beer is just an alcohol pop. So, looking at this one, I hope for massive improvement. It again comes in at £5 for the can, so it's not cheap this, it's not cheap. Without further ado, let's get the beer out into a glass and see what we get. Little bit of smoke on the can opening. Beer in the glass. So just incidentally, on the lemon meringue, the first beer from Buxton and Omnipollo that landed in the Tesco shelves for £5, that is now being discontinued and replaced full time by this beer. So we just have our fingers crossed that it's going to be a much better beer for that £5 price tag. As always, we will give you our 100% honest opinion on whether we think it's an alcohol pop or whether it's worth your £5. We got a one finger white head. This is coming in quite, it's a reddy amber hue to the beer. Slow moving carbonation. Let's get the aroma. Original Raspberry Ripple. Ice cream. It smells like a raspberry sour. The aroma is definitely coming through as a raspberry sour beer. I'm imagining that the ice cream part of the beer is lactose. Just raspberry and sourness and a little bit of cream maybe. It smells quite promising, to be honest. Let's dive in. Cheers. Oh, that's really interesting. That's really interesting. I think a much bigger improvement. A much bigger improvement on the first iteration of this beer. I can totally see why the decision by Omnipollo, Buxton and Tesco to replace the lemon meringue beer, which it was just like drinking a lemon hooch, by the way. And you can buy a lemon hooch for £1.50. Why would you buy the lemon meringue for £5 when you could buy a can of lemon hooch? And that was my argument. That was my argument. This has much more depth to it. Layers, levels of taste, of mouthfeel, of everything over the first beer. It's got a nice creamy, rich mouthfeel that is not overly rich and creamy. They've not overdone the lactose. They've made it lactosey enough that yes, you can get away with calling it like an ice cream style beer, which it is. It's a raspberry ice cream beer, and it has to work. In that aspect, it works. But it holds on to being very refreshing. Carbonation pushes the beer on the inside of the mouth, releases more of the flavour. There's nice raspberry flavours coming through. There's a little bit of sourness that comes through. This is much more like it. Much more like it. for the 6% ABV beer, the beer is drinking really, really well. Really well. The question I'm going to ask myself and you viewers is that, number one, question one, have you tried this beer? Question two, if you have tried the beer, and if you would like to comment in the comments box, do you think it was worth your £5? I don't think a beer comes in any more than £5 in Tesco or any other supermarket for that matter. I take it back. Omnipollo did a beer with Morrison's, the Noah Pecan beer, that come in at £8 for a bottle. That beer is pretty good. That beer is pretty good for that. Even for that £8, that beer is pretty good. I'm just asking myself the question, £5 for this beer. You have an array of beer on the shelves now in Tesco. Some of the beers are £4. Some of the beers are £3.50. Hell, you can pick up one of these Brewdog Parma Violets for £2.40. £2.40. That's less than half price. And it's more or less the same ABV, between 0.5%. Is this worth £5? Is this going to make you put a couple of beers in your basket and then go, actually no, I'm going to put that one back and I'm going to pick up the £5 beer because I've had it before and I think it's fantastic and I want to drink it again? Or are you buying this beer once for an experience, to say you've had it, maybe to check it in on Untapped, and then you've gone to yourself, it was a nice experience, but I wouldn't buy it again? I am quite undecided as to if I was in that same situation as we're talking about now. I'm quite undecided as to where, if I would buy it again. I really like it. I really like it. Miles and miles better than the first beer. I like the raspberry flavours. The raspberry flavours, the slight kind of creaminess coming through. It's a very delicate beer. It's a very well put together beer. I just don't know. I'm so undecided with this beer in terms of that £5 price point. Now, the £5 price point comes from the fact that Omnipollo and Sweden is very, very expensive. If you went to Sweden for a beer, you're talking about £15 a pint. For any pint, it's £15. So to get this down to £5 on the shelf price, that is a very, very cheap price you're paying for an Omnipollo beer. But at the same time, when there's other beers on the shelf that are half the price of this, and there's some others at £3 and £4, are you going to choose this over them for £5 a can? Comment in the comments box. I'm going to have to give you my answer now, because I've spoken enough about it. But let me give you a quick read about this description. A refreshingly sweet and tart raspberry ice cream pale ale from the original ice cream series by Omnipollo and Buxton. Oh, so tight in it. So this is a difficult situation. The first beer I wouldn't have paid £1 for. The first beer was rubbish. The lemon meringue was a terrible beer. This is a million miles better. But I don't know if I'd buy it. Some of you may still remember Chris, my mate. We still meet up for drinks. He doesn't venture into Tesco's that much. He's like a Morrison's type of shopper. If he invited me round to his house and I wanted to show him something a little bit different that's on the supermarket shelf, then I might venture out into Tesco and I might pick a couple of cans of this up to show him and let him experience it, let him drink it, and I think he'd really enjoy it. But so that's one reason why I would buy the beer. But on the other hand, if I'm sitting in the house on a Friday night or a Saturday night and I want to put a movie on, I want to get a couple of beers in, I think I'd probably pick up a couple of these Parma Violets for half the price of it, for £2.50, £2.40. I don't think I could be any fairer than that in this review. I think I've been 100% kind of undecided and opening the beer, having no idea what I'm tasting here with this, and just rolling the punches with you with this beer. I like it enough to give it an 8 out of 10. It's an 8 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box, subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews, give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom! Cheers.